Once upon a time, in a peaceful village surrounded by green hills and colorful fields, there lived a kind and gentle princess named Lira. She had long golden hair that shimmered in the sunlight and bright, curious eyes that loved discovering the wonders of nature. Unlike many other princesses who spent their days inside the palace, Lira loved exploring the world outside. Every morning she walked along the quiet village paths. Birds sang sweet songs above her, and warm sunlight filtered through the trees. The villagers admired her kindness, and children loved hearing her stories about forests and magical places. One beautiful morning, Lira decided to explore deeper into the nearby forest than she ever had before. As she walked under the tall green trees, she noticed butterflies dancing in the air and glowing flowers scattered across the ground. The deeper she walked, the more magical the forest began to feel. Suddenly, Lira noticed something unusual. Behind a group of thick bushes, there was a soft, golden glow. Curious, she gently pushed the branches aside. What she saw left her completely amazed. Hidden behind the bushes was a beautiful, magical garden, unlike anything she had ever seen. Sparkling water streams flowed gently between bright flowers of every color. The air smelled sweet, and tiny glowing lights floated like stars among the trees. Lira slowly stepped into the garden, her eyes wide with wonder. "This place is magical," she whispered. Just then, she heard a tiny voice. "Welcome, Princess Lira." Startled, Lira looked around until she noticed a small gnome standing on a stone nearby. He wore a bright red hat and had a long white beard that almost touched the ground. The little gnome smiled kindly. "My name is Tilo," he said. "I am the guardian of this magical garden." Lira knelt down so she could speak to him more easily. "This garden is the most beautiful place I have ever seen," she said softly. Tilo nodded proudly. "For many years, the gnomes have protected this garden. We plant flowers, care for the trees, and keep the magic alive." Soon, more tiny gnomes appeared from behind the plants and stones. Some carried tiny watering cans, while others held small tools for planting seeds. Lira watched them with fascination. The gnomes worked together, happily watering flowers and tending the plants with great care. But after a while, Lira noticed something troubling. Some flowers looked weak, and a few plants were slowly fading. Tilo sighed. "Sadly, the garden is losing its magic," he explained. "Without help, the flowers may disappear forever." Lira felt her heart fill with concern. "There must be something we can do," she said. Tilo looked at her with hope. The magic of the garden grows stronger when someone truly cares for it. A kind heart can help restore it. Without hesitation, Lira decided to help. The next day, she returned to the magical garden with determination. She gently watered the flowers while the gnomes helped her. Together, they planted new seeds and cared for the soil day after day. Lira continued visiting the garden. She cleaned the small streams so the water could flow freely again. She planted fresh flowers and helped the gnomes protect the trees. While they worked, the tiny gnomes often sang cheerful songs. Sometimes they danced happily around the garden. While Lira laughed with them, slowly, something wonderful began to happen. The fading flowers started glowing again. New plants began growing from the seeds Lira planted. Butterflies returned, flying gracefully among the blossoms. The garden was coming back to life. One evening, as the sun began to set, golden light filled the magical garden. The trees sparkled softly, and the flowers shined brighter than ever before. The gnomes gathered together to celebrate. "Your kindness has restored the magic of our garden." The gnomes danced and cheered around her while the sky turned pink and orange. From that day forward, Lira visited the garden whenever she could. Sometimes she sat peacefully beside the sparkling streams while the gnomes worked around her at night. The garden looked even more magical. Fireflies floated gently in the air, and glowing flowers lit the paths like tiny lanterns. Lira walked through the garden with the gnomes, listening to the soft sounds of the forest. The gnomes soon realized something important. Princess Lira was not just a visitor anymore. She had become part of the garden's magic, so one day, the gnome leader gathered all the gnomes together. "Princess Lira," he said, "you have shown great kindness and love for nature. We would like you to become the guardian of the magical garden." Lira felt honored and promised she would always protect the garden and care for its magic. From that moment on, the magical garden remained full of life and beauty. Flowers bloomed brightly, streams sparkled, and the forest was filled with laughter and joy. Princess Lira and the gnomes worked together to keep the garden safe for many years, and the hidden garden remained a magical place where kindness, friendship, and love for nature kept the magic alive forever. Moral of the story: when we care for nature with kindness and love, we help the magic of the world grow stronger.